Hello everyone, I'm Jeff Triplett, Mayor of the City of Sanford, Florida. I know you were expecting Mayor Buddy Dyer, weren't you? He's probably having a photo op or getting a new magazine cover made of himself. He's a great guy. I know Orlando is a great city, but Sanford has a performing arts scene too. Don't know if you know that. I've always told Wanzie many times over the years, I'm happy to support the arts. I'll cut a ribbon, write a check, but please don't make me sit through one of his plays, especially the self-written ones. It's just not my thing. But I do know how important the performing arts are to every city in Central Florida and to our economy. And it's hard to say no to Wanzie because otherwise you're going to end up the brunt of one of his jokes. Seriously, it breaks my heart to hear so many of my performing friends are out of work and in need of financial assistance. So I hope you'll join me in making a contribution to the fundraiser while you're enjoying tonight's showcase. Please give generously to ensure that when the pandemic is over, the shows will go on. And now, here's Kenny Howard and Wanzie.
Well, thank you, Mayor Jeff Triplett. Always a treat. Always a shout out to his main piece, Ada. You know, we just couldn't get any cooperation out of Buddy Dyer. Every week, the mayor of Orlando wore the same outfit, and people were getting concerned about it. So we just went to a distant city and asked another mayor to do our welcome for us. Kenny, you had the opportunity to go on a bar crawl with the mayor recently, didn't you?
Yes, I did. That was something else.
And what was your favorite bar?
What was it
Mannequins,
called?
I think?
Mannequins. Manakins.
And what kind of a bar was it?
It was a goth. It was scary.
Yeah, it's not every day you get a mayor to take you to a scary goth bar.
In Sanford, no less.
And the best part was then when we got there was some confusion, and somehow the owners thought I was the mayor and started sending me free drinks and asking me about noise ordinances and things. It was quite fun.
And the mayor sitting off to the side just laughing. Which is good. So.
Well, we got quite a show lined up for you, so we're going to get right into it. First, we want to say happy birthday today to Connie Sutton.
And happy birthday tomorrow to Matthew Buckaloo.
All right, we're going to get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. Our first is two-time Tony Award nominee for her memorable title role performances as Ella in Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella and as Bonnie in Bonnie and Clyde. And she is the proud winner of the prestigious Drama Desk Award for Best Performance by an Actress in a Musical for Cinderella. She came to Broadway by way of that TV competition show thing, Grease, You're the One That I Want, and she won the role of Sandy in the TV show. Let's face it, it was a shit show. But she was outstanding, and everybody knew it, and so that landed her a spot in Grease on Broadway. And then that, when that was ended for her, she was like, well, I'm in New York City. Why don't I just hang around and become a Broadway staple favorite ingenue of all of New York City and, you know, appear in things like Bandstand and South Pacific and Anything Goes and Bonnie and Clyde and Cinderella, just to name a few. And so she did. And then she turned to TV and she appears in two made-for-TV Hallmark movies, The Key of Love and Homecoming for the holidays. And then she was like, well, so TV's fun. Why not hang around here for a while? And so she makes appearances on Fosse Verdon and Dynasty and Elementary and on PBS broadcasts of Scarlet Pimpernel and Crazy for You. And then she thought, well, why not hit the concert stage? And so she started singing in concerts at the Lincoln Center and the Atlanta Theater and Chicago. And then she goes on to perform with the damn Boston Pops. And 3 times, count them 3, with the fucking Mormon Tabernacle Choir. My favorite credit of all of yours, Laura, being the ex-Mormon that I am. Anyway, she can be heard on 2 solo albums as well as several original Broadway cast recordings. She's with us tonight, escaping the city in her country home in my home state of Connecticut. Please welcome the amazing Laura Osnes.
Hi guys, that was quite the intro.
I forgot to.
I don't even need to be there. You just said everything I could possibly say.
I know. It's like, and that's a wrap. There we go.
Exactly.
Well, we know that you're a humble person and you're not going to toot your own horn, so I had to do it for you. But you and Kenny have quite a history, so I'm going to let him take over.
Yeah. So you're in Connecticut, right?
I am. I'm here. My husband and I have a house just outside the city, and so we're so grateful that this has been a very peaceful, calm place in nature for us to get to be right now. And we're here with 3 other friends of ours who didn't really have a place to go. So we have our little quarantine family, and we're hanging in there.
Oh,
Very
I
grateful.
just have him. So, well, how is Nate doing?
He's great. Nate's my husband, and we've had his birthday while he was here. We had our 13-year wedding anniversary while we were here. We had two of our other friends who are with us. They've had birthdays, so it's been good. We've been making the most of it. We've been cooking a lot. My husband loves to cook, and so he's becoming a total chef extraordinaire. And he even goes out fishing on the lake. We're right on a lake, and he's really enjoying that, and it's nice.
That's fantastic. Only because I know, and those who listen to the Carlisle album know. Would you mind I think the way that you two had your first kiss and met is adorable. Could you share that?
Absolutely.
Is that the Aladdin story?
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to get some masking tape for it.
No, please. We had a total showmance is what I like to call it. So Nate and I we met doing a production of Disney's Aladdin back in Minnesota, where we're both from. And he had just left college. He was out of college, and I actually took a year off school after my freshman year and interned at this theater for a year. And we were both in the ensemble, and we understudied Aladdin and Jasmine. And so the leads collided one day on stage in the middle of a show, and he chipped a tooth on her forehead. They had to stop the show. They sent the leads to the hospital, and Nate and I went on together as Aladdin and Jasmine. We rode the magic carpet. Our first kiss was on stage. Rose petals falling, everyone's getting married, and it was definitely foreshadowing. We started dating a few days later, and like I said, we just celebrated our 13-year wedding anniversary on May 11th.
I just love that story.
It sounds made up to me by a publicist.
It does. It's like kind of a real-life fairy tale.
That's fabulous.
Well, unlike what he said in his intro, I loved You're the One That I Want, and I voted for you every week.
Oh, I voted for you every week, too. Make no mistake about it, but you were the best thing about it, let's be honest.
You're so sweet. It was crazy. It was a very weird experience. I never thought I would be a reality show girl. And I feel like people who watched it were diehard fans, and then people who didn't watch it had never heard of it before, didn't know what it was. So
right. And then you just came in and you were just Sandy on Grease, and people didn't know necessarily. Some of them didn't know that you went through that process in order to be on there. Yeah, that's.
It's not everyone's journey. Let's just say that.
The only other one is Joseph. They did one for Joseph in the Dreamcoat.
Yeah.
They do it in London a lot. They've done it in London for Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. They've done it for Maria in The Sound of Music, Joseph. They did one for Nancy and Oliver. It's become a kind of a London thing, and then they tried it in the US with the Grease one, and it wasn't so much a hit. And so they haven't really done it again in that way. But it's very much a thing in the West End.
Well, they did it when it counted. Right.
Can I ask, it would have been one thing just to have to go on for someone calls sick and you go on fine, but to have it happen in the middle of the show that you had to go on, and then to not be playing opposite the other person for sure is steady in the role. Can you speak to that? What was going on in your head?
Thank you for even thinking about that, because it is so rare that both understudies go on Broadway, and granted this was still regional theater, so it wasn't even at the Broadway level, but on Broadway, it's everyone takes their vacation very strategically. We're allowed to take to make sure that 2 leads aren't out at the same time, ideally. Granted, things happen and people get injured or people get food poisoning or, unsuspecting things. And sometimes it does happen, but it is very rare that both the leads would be out in the same performance. The good thing is that when you have understudy rehearsal, you rehearse with the other understudies. And as you're watching normal rehearsal, the 2 leads are in there practicing, and you're kind of practicing with the understudy. And so there was at least that element where it's Nate and I had at least kind of rehearsed together. Not much though, because as I said, it was regional theater, and on Broadway you have understudy rehearsals every week. The understudies are amazing and they're prepared and they're ready to go. But in regional theater, it's I didn't even have my own costumes. I was getting in her dress that had a blood stain on it because it's regional theater. I think we had one official understudy rehearsal, but it was fine. At least I got to do it with Nate, and we were good friends leading into it. We definitely had some chemistry, but I had just gone through a breakup. So I wasn't quite in the place where I thought I was going to be ready to like move forward, but going on together kind of sealed the deal. It was like, okay, I think this is meant to be.
3 days later, you were ready.
Yeah.
And then that, is it take us after Grease.
Mm-hmm.
Was it,
Bandstand? Or?
No,
Bandstand was
South Pacific.
Next was South Pacific. So
yes.
I did Grease for a year on Broadway, and it was so wonderful, dream come true. And then the next Broadway show I did was South Pacific. I replaced Kelly O'Hara, Broadway legend, in that beautiful production at Lincoln Center. But what happened is Kelly got pregnant, and so they were seeking an immediate replacement as her baby bump was getting bigger every day. And I thought it was such a long shot for me to place her. I was 23 at the time, and we're 10 years apart. So she was in her 30s, and I was brand new, and I just wasn't expecting anything. I was shocked to get a call back. And I ended up having a series of 4 auditions, jumping through all the hoops and having all the people see me before I finally got that offer for that role. And that was really a life-changing moment for me. Like Grease was one thing, but I feel like booking South Pacific actually legitimized me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. I definitely agree.
Well, especially following the footsteps of Kelly.
Yeah.
Wow. And then Bonnie and Clyde, right?
Then Anything Goes.
Oh, okay.
We can't do dates.
I was doing Bonnie and Clyde out of town in Florida, actually, at Oslo Rep. When I flew back to New York on a Monday to audition for Anything Goes, and found out I booked it that day. So I didn't have to jump through as many hoops that time. The director of Anything Goes was Kathleen Marshall, who was the same director as Grease. And so we had worked together on that. And I got the offer that day to do that. I found that out while I was doing Bonnie and Clyde at Oslo Rep. And then I did that for 7 months in New York. And then that fall, I think we opened in January for Anything Goes. I did that like January to September. And then we opened Bonnie and Clyde in November.
And we closed in December.
I know, 2011. It was a quick one.
Yeah, it really was.
Short and love in life. I like that.
That's a great quote.
Kenny Howard was one of the producers on both Bonnie and Clyde and Cinderella.
And the cast album for Bonnie and Clyde, which that day, every time I listen to it, I think of you guys, because they wouldn't let you in the same booths, and you wanted to have that kind of. So they put you in the booths next to each other, and you'd be reaching through the pane of glass, and not through it, but it was really
Bonnie
sweet.
Clyde was a very like intimate show. Like I don't think I took my hands off Jeremy. If we ever were on stage together, it was always like touching each other in some way. So to suddenly be in an isolation booth, it was like with our minds on the hands of the windows, going like, oh, I miss you, I can't touch you.
It's my dream to play Bonnie Parker opposite Jeremy Jordan.
I mean, isn't it everybody's? It's everybody's. But what was actually so special about the Bonnie and Clyde cast album is that the show closed so quickly that we actually made the cast album after closing night, which has never happened before. So the show closed, the very end of December, and I think we all had New Year's, and then we came back January 2nd or 3rd or something.
It was the 2nd, yeah. It was
got to record the album. So it was actually kind of a really joyful little reunion, getting to make the album and have that memory.
Yeah, I love that memory.
And then was Cinderella next?
And then after Bonnie and Clyde, was Cinderella. Which was just a joy. I mean, it was just so special and magical, and it ended up being kind of a moment for me in my career with the Drama Desk win and, Tony nom, and Bonnie and Clyde, closed so quickly, but I did get that surprise Tony nomination for Bonnie and Clyde 5 months after we closed. So that was special.
And well deserved.
And you were doing Cinderella at the Broadway Theater, which is such a storied institution in itself and just a magnificent place to play. And that production was lush and amazing. I saw it twice.
Oh,
I mean, even I couldn't get over those tinfoil horns on the fairy godmother. I didn't understand what those were, but I still came back a second time to see you.
Sure. Yeah, there were a lot of odes to the earth in that show, and our costume designer, William Ivy Long, envisioned her as being a a butterfly, like went from being a cocoon as Crazy Marie to like a butterfly as the fairy godmother.
Oh,
they were
nice.
Oh,
and
thank you for explaining that. I've been wondering for
antennas.
years.
Well, now you know.
And again, just that Kenny was bringing you a check one day, to pay for your appearance at the Carlisle, that he had something to do with it. And I tagged along with him and asked you if was it possible that I could go out onto the stage at the Broadway Theater and look at the house, and you were very sweet to take me. So I have a very fond memory of our meeting.
Thank you. And that theater it's so huge. That house is distinctly large compared to other Broadway theaters, and so it's kind of exciting to get to stand on that stage and speak to the crowd.
What was because those costumes were so amazing for your transformations. The first time that you saw those costumes, I don't guess you can tell the tricks of the trade, but what was that like?
Yeah, well, I mean, I never really saw it from the front because I was always the one doing it. You know what I mean? So I don't know what it looked like, but it was magical. I mean, it was amazing, and William was so wonderful at helping me be involved. What was cool is that he relied on old school stage magic. It was all snaps and Velcro. You know, we weren't relying on technology. He didn't want smoke and mirrors. He didn't want blackouts or body doubles. He wanted it to happen before the audience's very eyes. And I think that's why people came back time and time again to, even when they knew it was coming, couldn't figure out how we did it, which was part of the magic of it. But William was a genius, and it was probably my favorite part of the show every night was getting ready for that transformation, knowing it was coming, and hearing the audience like gasp when I turned around in that beautiful white ball gown. But there were never
any gasp every single time.
There were never any costume disasters. There were days it like went a little smoother than others, but it's a testament to William's work, and that there was never. It always worked. It always worked, and the audience was always mystified. And
was it mostly in that first costume where you kind of like spin around the stage and you get costume pieces throughout the spin?
Yeah, the first transformation. So I had 3, which were amazing. So the first one, was from the rag dress to the white ball gown, and that was like a 2-step process. I like to explain it as like my old dress goes away and like the nightgown is revealed, and then I run to the tree gives me a hug, and I come away with like the full ball gown. So it was like a 2-part process. And then there was another, the second transformation was like going from the ball gown with the cape back to the rag dress. And that it was a pull away, like my dresser was hidden on the set, and it was like a rip away outfit. It was like suddenly my rag dress was revealed again. And then the final transformation was actually, for me personally, I think the most magical, because I went from one thing and I threw something up into the air so the audience, their sight line followed the thing. And then as those things fell, the new dress was revealed. So I think that one was maybe the most magical because it happened literally in a split second.
Yeah.
Where the first one had a couple steps so you could see it happening. And the third one there into that, there's a banquet. The prince has a second event that Cinderella has to go to. So there's, of course, a second transformation. And she goes from, the like a rag version of another dress to a gold ball gown. And it's so beautiful.
Well, it was a sumptuous production, and you got the benefit of all of it. There's something on we got to wrap up. But I want to ask, was there something on the horizon for you that's got put on hold because of COVID, or what's up next?
I did Bandstand after Cinderella. Just shout out to Bandstand because we didn't get to talk about that. But when I'm not in a show, I do concerts. So I travel and sing with symphony orchestras, and I started a concert series called the Broadway Princess Party with me and 2 other girls who have been original Disney princesses on Broadway. And we tour, and that's been super fun. And we had a bunch of concerts this spring that were put on hold. So hopefully once the world starts rolling again, we're able to dive back into either doing concerts before the next Broadway show comes along.
All right, but are you currently doing master classes or?
Oh yeah, we were going to talk about that too. So what's been keeping me busy during COVID and during this time is I've been teaching online master classes a lot. So if you have a theater group or want a private coaching on your audition song, or want to do a Q&A, I work with a bunch of different companies, one of which is actually the Broadway Princess Party. So we just put on our website a few days ago, we're doing some master classes and shout out videos. So definitely check it out. Follow me on social media.
There might be a few princesses in Orlando who might be interested.
Yeah, nice. Please do. Please reach out.
Before we say goodbye, is there anything that you want to say to our listeners here, and mostly in the Central Florida area?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you so much for all your support. I know we have so many just fans and friends in Florida. I've gotten to go several times to Naples and West Palm, Miami to perform. So thank you guys for all of your support. And also, let's not forget why we are here today. And please remember to give and donate. Be generous with what you can. Thanks.
Great. Well, Laura, I have some footage that I pulled from one of your Princess Diary BroadwayWorld.com videos of when you, and is that the prince with you?
Yes, and Prince Santino.
And the other young lady is?
The other young lady is Santino's wife, Jessica.
Jessica.
And then who came with me was my dresser, Tammy.
So this was while you were performing on Broadway. You make literally a one-day
trip. Yep, we did a one-day trip on a Monday to Disney because Santino, my Prince in Cinderella, is also the voice of Prince Hans in the movie Frozen, the Disney movie Frozen. So he's a real Disney prince as well as, a Rodgers and Hammerstein Cinderella's prince.
So you arrive at 12:30 in the morning. You have a day at Disney. You go home on Tuesday morning to perform Tuesday night in Cinderella.
That's it. We left Sunday after the matinee, and we had 2 nights. Yeah, 2 nights in Florida.
Well, we're going to say goodbye to you, and then we're going to show a few clips edited by Cesar de la Rosa from your Princess Diary, which I know our local folks are going to enjoy, of your visit to Disney to meet Cinderella while you were Cinderella.
Thank you, guys.
I can be whatever I want to be. Hi guys, it's Laura Osnes and you are watching The Princess Diary. 4 things. 1, this is the final episode of The Princess Diary Season 2. So I will miss you guys so much. It's been such a wonderful journey. 2, I want to say thank you to all of our friends who helped us have a really magical time at Disney World this last week. We couldn't have done it without you. Thank you for an amazing day. 3, I did not meet Cinderella while I was there. I had my eyes open for her all day and I never saw her or found her. And when we went to the place where she was supposed to be and we were going to wait in line, she actually wasn't there. It was only Sleeping Beauty and Rapunzel, so she missed out. But I did, however, 4, get to meet Captain Jack Sparrow, and I became an official apprentice pirate. Look, signed by Captain Jack Sparrow. I love you, Johnny Depp.
Santino, where are we going today?
We're going to Disney World,
We are?
the happiest place on earth. Yes, we are.
We're going to Disney World!
Come with me.
We're going to Disney World!
It's gonna be 2.
You have an emergency seat procedure number 137. All customers should be on board.
We need to have power of every child on this aircraft.
We just landed at the Orlando International Airport. It is, let's see, 12:20 a.m. in the morning on Sunday night. Here we flew in, and now we get to take Disney's Magical Express right to our hotel. Yes!
We're at Epcot. We're visiting the world. We already visited France. We visited Japan, Morocco. The Aladdin and Jasmine show was showing, but we didn't have time to see it. Bummer. I wanted to meet that princess. Maybe we'll see her at Magic Kingdom later. So here we are in Norway. This is my homeland of my people, the Osnes family. I've actually been to Norway, and there's a little town called Osnes that I've been to. So hey, it's kind of cool. Let's go visit the Vikings. I need a sword. I know how to say one thing in Norwegian. Jeg snakker ikke norsk, and it means I don't speak Norwegian. We're on the monorail from Epcot to Magic Kingdom, and there's Cinderella's castle.
partners, Mickey and Walt. And there's the castle, Cinderella Castle.
We were right up there.
Yeah. Tams, tell us what we did.
We went up to the Cinderella suite.
They didn't let us take the camera, so
but we got to go in and see where
that window right there, I believe, was the bathroom?
No,
that's the study.
That's the study.
Oh, facing that way.
Yeah.
That's amazing. We got to go in there.
The parlor.
There's a real suite, a real like hotel honeymoon suite up there, and we just got a tour of it. So cool. Santina's getting coffee. We're gonna get some pictures in front of the castle. What a great day. It's like 90 degrees. It's beautiful. So we just had a glorious dinner at the hotel, and Tammy and I took a dip in the pool, and we're finishing the night by the fire, the campfire outside. We had such an amazing time at Disney World, and thank you so much for joining us on our journey of the Princess Diary. Bye. Da-da-dum, da-da-dum, I can be whatever I want to be.
And there we have Cinderella at Walt Disney World, ladies and gentlemen. A couple of housekeeping things real quick. We may have mentioned this last week, but they came in late, and I hate to miss people, but last week we had, the show, we had donations from Darlene, Dundee, Dylan, Todd, and Second Impressions, David Dorman and Lawrence Cook. Starting off tonight, we've had donations from Margot Dixon, Rosemary Welton, and Elaine Wood, totaling $100. If I didn't say your name and you've donated, I don't see them in real time. We will get to them. Our friend Rick Claggett, shout out to him over at the Watermark Tote Board for keeping on top of this. We got to do a lot better than that, folks. We need to raise some cash tonight. So remember, you don't have to give $100 or $500 but you can. But if you would have been going out tonight and buying a drink or a ticket to a drag show or a real show, take that money if you have it and make it be your ticket for this show. And the money will go to someone who absolutely needs it, and it will get to them quickly. We have served 167 performers now with $100 gifts. And so moving right along, ladies and gentlemen, our next guest was born and raised right here in Orlando. That's a rare thing. She grew up in the theater community, and she has been seen around town at Fringe and the Abbey and Orlando Shakes and Central Florida Vocal Arts and Beth Marshall Presents, and most recently at the Orlando Rep. She recently moved back home after graduating with her BFA in music theater from Florida University. Her favorite credits include Velma Von Tussle and Hairspray, Max and How I Became a Pirate, Estelle and the Full Monty at the Abbey under the direction of Kenny Howard and Blue choreography, and most recently in Pete the Cat at the Orlando Repertory Theater. She's currently isolating in place in one of my favorite Orlando neighborhoods, Eola Heights, and she has an amazing voice that is going to blow your way. Please welcome to the showcase the very lovely Gabriella Juliet.
Hello. Hi, you're so fine.
Hey, Gabby. Listen, I hate to do this to you, but it's just so right. Coming right off of Laura Osnes and Cinderella, we're going to save your interview till after we hear you sing your first song because it fits in so perfectly. Set it up for us.
Sure. The song you'll hear today is from Disenchanted, the musical, one of my favorites. I saw it way back when at the Abbey with the beautiful Michelle Knight. She was Snow White, and along her and all the other princess posse, they are not your typical heroine, and they come and tell you what the Disney princesses are really thinking and really up to. So this is my favorite song, and it's near the end of the show.
Great. So let's have a look.
Back in the olden days, when I had a chore to do, I'd whistle through the daily grind until my face turned blue. Now the centuries have passed, and I pray things change real soon. 'Cause here I am still whistling while I'm dusting, while I'm whistling, and as a woman that gets me bristling. his mindless whistling and tell that prince to take his out-of-date demands and stick them up his charming. So when he tells me to do laundry, I'd like to see him try. And if he wishes I would mop the floor, he can eat and die. And if he doesn't shape up, he can kiss my goodbye. 'Cause I'll whistle straight out that front door, and the guy can mop his own floor, 'cause I ain't gonna take it up the no more. So there's one last thing to do, and that's to say I love you dearly, but if things don't change, then I'll simply say
Well, Gabby, it's just a goddamn shame you didn't choose a song that could show your range.
Thank you.
You got the operatic thing going for you. You're perfect for that song.
He hadn't seen, I guess you've been with him and he's asked you to sing and you never have, but you auditioned for me for Full Monty. So he was like, oh my God, did you know how she could sing? And I was like, yes, she definitely can.
I love people with it.
Yeah, that's great.
So, but in Full Monty, you were basically in the ensemble, so I didn't really get to see much. Well, I saw a lot of your legs. Your cooter was practically hanging out of your skirt, but I didn't get to see what you could do. And of course, tell us what you do in your day job when opportunities permit via your family.
Like opportunities permit into what I was doing before COVID day job?
With Mike and Joyce.
Oh, well, I love my family. I'm very close with my parents. They run the Imagination House. And actually, you hear playing the piano on the songs today is my dad, Mike Avila. He's really, because I probably told him 2 days ago, can you play these songs for me? And he was like, sure, fine. And
well, I asked you 4 days ago, so that makes sense.
Shout out to him. Thank you for that, Dad.
And I should throw in your dad conducted the choir for the like 150 voice choir for Broadway Cares or for
Broadway with Love.
Broadway with Love.
Yeah.
For Orlando in response to Pulse. But go ahead.
Absolutely. No, I'm so sad I had to miss that event actually because I was doing a summer stock show at a regional theater, but I was so proud to see all the pictures of that, and that was a wonderful show. But yes, we're a musical family here, and I'm really grateful that they.
And your mom is?
Oh my God, my mom's Wonder Woman. She is a producer, she's a writer, she's a leader, she's everything. She's a businesswoman, and yeah, she kind of taught me everything I know. So.
And she and Kenny have something in common, Kenny?
Oh yes, she was the past president before me for Orlando Fringe, board of directors, and she taught me everything that I know, and probably missing things.
And I don't know if you're aware of this, but I first met your mother in the men's room at Orlando Shakes.
I love
it. That's not right.
Yeah, it is true. I was attending a show that was a musical that with friends of yours, wasn't it, from your college?
Oh, the bathroom. That was
the one right. What was the name of that show?
That was my best friend, my big Graham show. They did Sissy, which was a show in the bathroom.
And it was performed in the bathroom using the urinals and the mirrors and the sinks. And you only let 10 people in, and you would sludge together. And I was next to your mother, and that's how we met.
That's like my mom. She will come to support every show, and no matter what, even if it is in men's.
She's wonderful. But back to you. So a lot of the roles that you played were, I guess, up in Gainesville. Is that right?
Tallahassee, but yes.
Tallahassee.
That's the Gators.
The wrong school. You're not like. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, you're at the school we don't like. I'm sorry, Scott Stoll. I'm sorry, Rich Ron's a major Gators.
It's
but
okay.
Musical theater is where it's at FSU.
Right. Is Tallahassee the Seminoles thing?
Tallahassee, Florida.
Oh, I didn't realize. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I love it.
Well, now I don't feel bad. I never made it up there to see it. It's
a drive for sure.
Because of all his time at University of Florida. So before COVID, you were actually in the middle of a run of a show, correct?
Absolutely. I was in the middle of a run of one show, and I was about to open another show, as so many of us in Orlando were. I was at the Orlando Rep doing Pete the Cat. It was so much fun. I miss it so much. We did 2 shows a day, 6 days a week, and the kids would come in. And I was also in a production of 9 with Central Florida Vocal Arts, Paul Castaneda, Teresa Smith, and that group was running that. And we were about 2 weeks from opening when everything shut down. And for me, that was March 13th. I had my Pete the Cat show. We came in the morning to do our show. We had 2 shows that day. We did our first show, and then unfortunately, Jeff called us up and told us all the news. But this was back in March, before, when everyone didn't know what was going on. And
well, I hope to goodness that still comes to fruition. 9 is one of my favorite musicals of all time, and you are perfect for it. Let's set up the next clip, shall we? Also a throwback to Laura Osnes, because she started with Grease and that TV thing. And you're going to do a song from Grease. Which one is it?
RZA's song, There Are Worse Things I Can Do. I would love to be RZA one day. Amen.
Yeah, well, and then this shows your range, doing all that soprano opera shit in that first one, and now you're going to be gutsy RZA. Let's have a look, Rich.
Sure.
There are worse things I could do than go with a boy or two, even though the neighborhood thinks I'm trashy and no good. I suppose it could be true, but there are worse things I could do. I could flirt with all the guys, smile at them and bat my eyes, press against them when we dance, make them think they stand a chance, then refuse to see it through. That's a thing I'd never do. I could stay home every night, wait around for Mr. Right, take cold showers every day, and throw my life away on a dream that won't come true. I could hurt someone like me out of spite or jealousy. I don't steal and I don't lie, but I can feel and I can cry, a fact I bet you never knew. But to cry in front of you, that's the worst thing I could do.
You're back, kids.
We're back. I'm sorry. I ran out of Ruby Red and had to change to vodka and oranges. I was distracted. But it's a lovely performance, I'm sure. We weren't watching. So I had asked you, you do your day job and you work with your parents. We talked about your parents, but we didn't really talk about the company. What is the Imagination House?
The Imagination House. How do I even answer that in a quick sentence? We do everything from full-scale video production to theatrical production. You just go to their website. There you go. If you go to the website,
let's just say that their clients are like, they've done the music for Disney parades. They've produced the opening and launching of ships for Disney cruise lines. They've done ceremonies and musical spectacles for Universal. They are known to be the go-to company when cruise lines need entertainment, which is how Kenny and I and Blue have been very fortunate to work with the Imagination House and have gotten some wonderful trips to Europe out of it and Las Vegas to be inspired and to install shows. So we have a PSA coming up in a minute, produced by the Imagination House, which you're in, which we've tried for 2 weeks to show, but something was wrong. We got it fixed out. Third time's the charm. It's going to work out, I promise.
It's gonna work.
All right? But so possibly when we come back from this, will 9 still be
I hope so. Both Pete the Cat and 9, I've heard, as soon as, everything's up in the world right now, but both producers have let me know that as soon as we are able to, that they're planning on remounting.
Paul Castaneda and the Orlando Rep. So people, if you haven't seen her before and you're impressed, you're going to be more impressed with this last song. You know where to see her when this is over. Pete the Cat at the Orlando Rep, and is it vocal?
Central Florida Vocal Arts is the
Central Florida Vocal Arts for 9.
At the Orlando Rep.
You chose a song for the last one, which is one of my very, very favorite. I love a story song. I love a song with Kenny and I both. Song with relationships. The reference to 9/11 in here is so poignant. It's not a short piece.
No.
And it's one you have to listen to. But it just is glorious. But I've heard so many people do this song, Gabby, like pros who do not deliver it with the sense of phrasing and acting that you do. Set it up for us.
Thank you. Well, I love this song. This is my favorite songs. I actually sang years ago when I first auditioned for Florida State. And I love it because it is, like you said, it's a storytelling song. And I think that the best musical theater, if you can just rely on the story to do it itself and just tell it with honesty, and that's what matters. And especially with where we are in the world right now and how much pain New York City is in, this song really felt appropriate for me to
sing. Yeah, still prescient. The song is I'll Be Here.
I'll Be Here, Ordinary Day.
It's from a not too well-known piece called Ordinary Days. Explain to us what that is, because it's not a typical show.
Right, it's not a typical show. There's less plot as much as there's music, but it's 4 young New Yorkers, and it's kind of lives intertwined with each other. And the role I'm singing is Claire, and this is her song at the very end of the piece. And she's mourning, but she's also moving on. She's also taking in everything. It's a powerful story.
And you act it beautifully. We should give a shout out to the writer. Do you know who it is?
Adam Guan, absolutely.
All right, let's have a look. Thank you, Rich.
We met, of all places, in front of Christie's, some freakishly cold winter's day. I had on several unflattering layers of wool. He slipped on the ice with his grocery bags full. So I rescued some Fruit Loops he'd dropped by the curb, and he made some remark that my smile was superb. I thought that was sweet, and I started to go when he said, "Hey, what you doing tomorrow? Because I'll be here at the corner of Bleecker and Mercer tomorrow at 7. If you want to meet up, I'll be waiting right here. And in case there are 2 fellas waiting for you, my name's John." He waved, and then he was gone. Needless to say, I went back there to meet him, mostly to see if he'd show. And there he was, out in the cold, with his jacket pulled tight. He took me to dinner and kissed me goodnight. The next week, we went to this terrible play. And the week after that, drank hot chocolate all day. And suddenly, 8 or 9 months had flown by when he said, "Hey, what you doing the rest of your life? Because I'll be here beside you as long as you want me to be. There's no question. There is nothing I've wanted so much in my life. This might sound immature, but I'm totally sure you're the one. And we had just begun. We got hitched in September, our favorite month, with a rock band that played in this old synagogue. And we bought an apartment on West 17th Street and talked about children and getting a dog. Our first anniversary came in a flash, and we promised to take the day off. He had to step into his office that morning, and so I went walking uptown to this bakery I know. When I heard on the street what I thought was a joke, till I noticed the sirens and saw all the smoke. So I'm running back home with this feeling of dread, to the voicemail he left with the last words he said. I'm sorry. I don't mean to ruin your evening by bringing up all of this stuff. You're probably wondering why I even called you tonight. Well, today something happened that spooked me, alright. I saw this storm cloud of papers fall down from the sky, and I thought of that day, and I started to cry. When as sure as I breathe, I heard John, clear as day, saying, hey, you're allowed to move on. It's okay, because I'll be here, even if you decide to get rid of my favorite sweater. Even if you go out on my birthday this year, instead of sitting at home, letting all of life's moments pass by. You don't have to cry, because I'll be here when you start going back to the places we went to together. When you take off my ring and you let yourself smile, when you meet someone handsome and patient and true, when he says that he wants to be married to you, when you call him one night and he meets you downtown, and you finally answer him yes. Yes, Jason, I will marry you. I will give you my heart. It has taken so long, but I'm ready to start. Right now, John's whispering congrats in my ear, 'cause I finally let myself tell you that I will be here.
That song is just so beautiful, and you did, like you said, you did such an amazing job.
Well, I guess the part about the smoke and the oh my God.
So
on that
note, we need to wrap up, but I just wanted to ask. You had said you'd been watching a lot of television, but I'm almost out. What are you binging?
Oh my gosh, I've been watching way too much television. Everything from the beginning of quarantine, I started with like the Love is Blind and the Tiger King Netflix route. And then I went to Hulu, and I've been doing Law & Order SVU, Dave, Westworld, lots of RuPaul. Like Westworld was season 3. I just finished it. You cry. The last episode, it was everything.
I haven't watched it yet.
Definitely worth
it. This was confusing for me. I'm still putting all the pieces together. together. But
Season 2, I stopped watching halfway through and picked back up with season 3. So I think
yeah. I think I know it'll all come together. Before we let you go, is there anything you'd like to say to everyone watching?
Yes, of course. Remember, while we're here today, please support all of the Central Florida artists like me who are out of work and need emergency financial aid right now. Click the link above your screen and donate. Donate.
Wonderful.
Thank
you so much for being here and providing us with beautiful songs.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Just want to say, just had a $50 donation from the lovely and talented Joe Swanberg. We appreciate that. So we're up to 100 interest. We're usually at about the $500 mark around this time. So please, people, if you're watching and you've got a little to spare, we can't be letting all these people who are performing for free, Laura Osnes, for God's sakes, calling and give us their time. It's got to be worth something. And your Central Florida neighbors really need your help. Please make a donation if you can. If you can't, we're glad you're with us. We have a little break here to take. We have a PSA coming up from the Imagination House, which with Gabriella is associated. We've tried it 2 weeks prior. It didn't work, but we think we've got it fixed. And I put a couple of feelers out to people saying, from the first broadcast, is there anything you might want to see? And overwhelmingly, one of the things that came back was the duet by Sam Singhouse and Randy Solomon that was on our launch, our 3.5-hour telethon we did a couple of months ago. Baby, it's a parody of Baby, It's Cold Outside, which is Baby, Please Stay Inside. So enjoy these clips from the Imagination House and Randy Solomon and Sam Singhouse.
Hi, everybody. We're the Imagination House.
We're the Imagination House.
We're the Imagination House.
We're the Imagination House.
We hope you and your families are staying safe through these upside down times.
We've all been affected by the COVID-19 shutdown.
And we just want to say that we know things are tough right now.
But we're all in this together.
We're in this together.
So while you enjoy the performances today, we hope you'll consider donating to the Central Florida Artists Relief Fund.
Just go to the link at the bottom of the screen and give what you can. Every little bit helps.
Every little bit helps.
Every little bit helps.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stay strong, Orlando.
This goes out to you all. Maybe some comic relief, I hope. That is surely my intention. I really can't stay.
Baby, don't go outside.
I gotta go
But
play.
baby, just stay inside.
This quarantine's
Been hoping that you'd
so
Skype in.
very long.
Can't hold your hands, they're full of germs.
The news is really making me worry.
I hope this virus leaves in a
I
hurry.
know this is a terrible bore.
Don't let me hear you sneak out the
So
door.
really I'd better chill.
Don't wanna get anyone
Well,
ill.
maybe just 1,000 drinks
As
more.
Cuomo says, the cases will
Some
soar.
morons don't think
that it's so bad out there.
and we're being hoodwinked
By the guy with the awful hair.
The lines in the store are out the door.
We're trying to fight the toilet paper war.
I'm dying to go out to dinner.
Really not getting much thinner.
I know it isn't what I
We
deserve.
really have to flatten the
God
curve.
help me, I beg.
Baby, just stay inside.
I guess I'll just eat.
What's there to do all day?
I can't see my feet.
Blame that on Frito-Lay.
I'm starting to look
You always look good
like
to me.
a balloon.
Put down that fudge and lock the
I
fridge.
try to work out for a bit.
Just go for that sexy glow.
I knew I was a little unfit.
You're schwitzing from head to toe.
Maybe I should think about yoga.
Stretch.
I wonder how I'd look in a toga.
I think you look
I
svelte.
miss all my friends.
Honey, you'll see us soon.
Can't wait till this ends.
Let's have a party in June.
will really be grand when we all hold hands.
We'll hug and kiss and dance the whole night through.
I have to try to forget the sorrow.
Know the sun will come out tomorrow.
It seems to be too good to be true.
Perhaps we'll have a highball or two.
I know I must stay.
Randy, just stay. Randy, just stay inside.
Now I gotta go watch the news conference. Bye.
Yes, it finally worked. Third time. They put so much effort into that, and it's so beautiful, and now everyone got to see it finally. So
Thank you to the Imagination House and to Randy Solomon and Sam Singhouse, and we shout out to Brian Cole from the Edge Factory for obviously Sam and Randy were not in the same place, so to make that video happen took some magic, and that's the sea of Brian Cole at the Edge Factory. Ladies and gentlemen, here to close out the showcase tonight is the Victorian horror troupe, which Good Day Atlanta called one of the most unique theater troupes in the country, celebrating 11 years of productions with troops in Florida, Georgia, and St. Louis, Missouri. Get ready for a unique tapestry of whimsically macabre theatricality. I'm drunk. From haunted poetry and tales of terror to fantastical dancing, gotta make up words, fantastical dancing and sideshow performances, Phantasmagoria is there for whatever your entertainment needs may be. So let's welcome to the showcase the goodwill ambassadors of Phantasmagoria, Lord Byron and Lady Simone. Hello. And there they are.
I like it.
Oh, I'm completely drunk.
And I'm water this week. Last week it was me.
I normally drink Deep Eddy Ruby Red vodka, which is only 70% alcohol, but I ran out, so now I'm drinking real vodka, which is 90%, but at the 70% rate, and so I got a little ahead of myself tonight. So forgive me.
He just said drinking. He's getting southern.
He's drinking according to Simone.
Our Lord Byron and Lady Simone married.
Lady Simmerine, are the characters?
Simmerine. You know what? That's what I wrote down, and then when I was going through it, I thought, Jesus, I fucked that up, and I changed it to Simone.
We practiced this. Like
submarine with a cinnamon at the beginning.
Ooh, submarine.
Yes. Lady Simmerine. Lord, are you married?
The characters are not. The people they know named John and Dion are indeed married, yes.
Oh, they for John and Dion, who are not present with us tonight, they produce the show.
Yes, we talk about them by backs all the time.
I see, right. And John and Dion live in Sanford, so you were well represented at the start of our show by your mayor tonight. Where do you two live?
Yes, Jeff Triplett, we adore him. He has opened our show for us before. He's a little frightened of us, but we enjoy him. Yes.
Oh, he's a little frightened of physicality, period. He's, there's a reason he's the mayor of Sanford. Let's just leave it at that. But Lord Byron and Lady Simmerine, Comatose, where do you live?
Yes. Well, Byron and Simmerine, we have lived in the void, dear heart. The void since the dawn of time. We come out only when stories need to be told.
Well, on that note, I think we should probably go to our first clip, Rich. This is a portion that I took from a promotional video that Lord Byron and Lady Cinnamon Toast played at MegaCon or something at their booth to attract people. But I think it gives a really good overview of just what they are all about. So it's visually stunning once you get past the opening, but listen and watch and you will be delighted. Rich?
From out the cloud of ancient lore, born in dark, forgotten times, these wanderers swept o'er the land, athwart valley and mountain climbs.
From far and wide they gathered strong, not knowing whence they came.
They sought another from out the throng, a troop born through their glory fame.
Phantasmagoria!
They soon were known.
The centuries soared through swift.
Within each nation their seed was grown.
The stories were their gift. The tales they told brought fear to all, conjuring beasts from hell-born doom.
The fates and muses who sound their call brought life to the weaver's loom.
Until the day when worlds are torn,
and demons gather nigh, for of the stories they are born,
and of the stories
they shall die.
They shall die.
Well,
That's just.
La Nuba's got nothing on you people, honestly. And credit due where credit is due. There's some wonderful choreography in those segments, and that's I believe that's a credit to you, ladies. Cineplex, isn't it?
Cineplex. Cineplex is one of our main dancers. The choreography is actually Mila Makarova, Russian ballerina.
I don't give him that one right now.
Makarova.
And Jesus, is Russians involved? Is this a Trump-backed thing?
Phantasmagoria has been around for quite a while, as far back as I can remember. How long have you been involved with it?
11 years.
Lord and Lady, I mean.
Lord Byron and Lady Cimarine have been there for 20 centuries.
Yeah.
Their friends John and Dion have been there for 11 years.
Perfect.
And but certainly, Lord Byron, this at its inception, there were not liras hanging from the ceiling and silks, and I mean, how is it? How has it grown to become the spectacle that it can be, if that's what the client wants?
Over the years, as troupe members were found around the world, they brought their talents in. So the aerial was added in when we had artists who do aerial. We brought fire in about year 3 when we all suddenly started incorporating some of those skills. Most recently, we've started incorporating whip arts and knife arts and Daedrat. because some of our members do that, So it's very explicit to the members of the troupe themselves.
Okay, so despite all that dressing, that's core. If you didn't even have all of that, what is Phantasmagoria? What's the mission of it, or what's the theme?
To keep the stories alive. That's all. We can have 30 people on stage with aerial arts and an orchestra. We've performed with actually a 200-piece orchestra backing us while we do our stories. Or we can be around a campfire just telling stories. And it's still Phantasmagoria as we do.
Because then poetry plays a big part sometimes, yes? And so right now, Phantasmagoria is performing online. Tell us about that.
Yes. So Lady Cimarine or Cimarron or
Cinnabon.
Or visiting with the St. Louis troupe, getting them ready for their latest extravaganza when this exile was imposed on all of us. As soon as we came back to this mystical, magical, frolicking land called Sanford, we decided on doing these little mini productions. We were going to try it once and see if it worked, and now we're in our 9th week of doing them. It's been wonderful to just spend time with people, and we get messages on how this is their now Sunday night tradition to do this.
But you're not bringing people together and endangering them. You're doing things remotely.
Live, the two of us. We use people remotely and through video.
Right, because you two have already infected one another, so that's, yeah.
So, for example, at Fringe this week, we'll be performing at Fringe, but we'll be doing it remotely through this wizard thing called Zoom. It's absolutely amazing. Yes, it goes back to King Arthur. Yes. So we'll be using Zoom, and we'll have about 17 of our members performing together. And what this has also done, Mr. Wanzie, is it's enabled us to have our performers from other states. Yeah, who is this, Mr. Wanzie?
It's like Mrs. Cher? What the fuck?
So like tomorrow night, we'll have some members from St. Louis performing with us because they can do that remotely. Yes.
That's cool. And how do people find you?
They go to our Facebook page.
Yes. They can see us on Facebook Live. That's where we'll be streaming each of our Sunday night episodes. You can also find us on the Instagram. It takes photos, and I'm still not sure if it steals your soul or not. But Instagram.
It does.
Twitter.
Yes, yes. And the top tick. We're on top tick.
Whatever that. I gotta give for our next clip or our final clip of the evening, a special thank you to you, Lady Nuclear Submarine, because you guys did this specifically for the showcase. This is Cinnabon is gonna perform a fire dance, and you did this like outside in your own front yard, right? Just for us.
Yes.
All right. Let's look at that, Rich. That's fun.
All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and the diversity of spirits, we are now outside in delightful downtown Sanford. Yes, and we are here in the dark. Ooh, Cimarine, what song will we be dancing to?
Well, I'm Not Afraid of the Dark by Nathaniel Johnston.
Oh, how ironic and handy. Let us do it, Lady Cimarine.
I'm not afraid of the dark. I'm not afraid of what bumps in the night. I'm not afraid of the dark. Shriekings and creakings don't fill me with fright. It's the things in the day that make me afraid. The men in their suits and the plans that they lay that scare me. Oh, they scare me. Spooky old tales, legends and curses and mythical fears. I like spooky old tales from dusty old books left over the years. Haunted old houses, monsters and ghosts, creatures that wail, the undying host. Don't scare me. slows down and the world relaxes, I step outside to regard the sky. The stars reveal their hallowed dances. It only stands to reason why. I like the howling of wolves when bright swollen moon looms in the sky. I like the singing of wolves. Their full-throated cry is my lullaby. It's the noise of the day that makes me afraid. Traffic and heat in full bloody fray that scares me. Oh, it scares me.
Ho-ho!
It's the things in the day that make me afraid. All the terrible things we do and we say that scare me. Oh, they scare me.
Brava, Lady Cimarine! Take a bow for all of our guests. Bravo!
That's fantastic. Do not attempt that at home, people, please. Was that original music?
It was. It was an original piece by an amazing artist named Nathaniel Johnston. He's one of the many musical collaborators that Phantasmagoria loves to work with. Todd Kimbrough writes our waltzes. Mechanism, Miss Mekiyota, is one of my other favorite artists to dance to. And
Mayu,
yes, he is. Oh, Mayu, Mechanism, I love all of them. They have such amazing music, and it's a wonderful collaboration.
While the video was rolling, you told us an interesting story about while that was filming. Could you share that with the audience?
As you imagine, in the middle of the night in Sanford, Florida,
when flames show up, they assume the Ku Klux Klan is doing something.
So we have had cars up, of course, to watch. One night we were doing it and didn't realize that all these people were outside watching us. And we finished the performance, and all of a sudden, like, applause was coming out of the dark. Another time, someone had been driving by and we didn't realize it. And the next day in message requests, I got all of these photographs of ourselves that they sent to us, which is beautiful and slightly creepy.
Yes.
Wonderful at the same time.
Well, I think we have to say goodbye, but before we do, is there anything that you would like to say to the people watching, Lord and Lady?
I want to say something to the two of you. I want to say to Wanzie and Rich, who's there in the control room, and to Kenny, thank you. Thank you for everything you're doing these last few weeks. It has helped to unite the community, and it has helped the people who need the help right now. And so I just encourage everyone to send the money to this wonderful cause. There's a word that I cannot call it, but there's other words that I can call it, and those words are amazing, because they're helping so many people. So thanks so much to the two of you for everything you have given this community.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Lord Barton, and thank you, Lady Cinnamon Stick. We love you, and everybody tune in tomorrow to see their stuff. Thank you and goodbye.
Bye.
Well, it's just good to happy birthday to somebody, because birthday girl Con Hutton has made a contribution, and so has Christy Kubchik, who contributes weekly if he's going to theater, and Mike Avila, who was the accompaniment and the parent for Gabriella Juliet. And this, ladies and gentlemen, concludes episode 6 of the Greater Orlando Social Distance Showcase. Rich, where are you?
I'm here. Let me see. Where am I?
I don't know.
Are you there?
I'm here.
Yeah. Is the co-host with you tonight? People like to see him.
No, he took off on me. You know.
He doesn't like you on show days.
He knows.
He's not happy with it.
He knows it's
fire.
time. It's true.
Yes.
He knows all about it. Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, there are always a few people who need to be thanked that you don't see at the beginning that you do see at the end credits. And we've got some special effects now added to the end's credits.
Gotten fancy.
That weren't there before. So give a look, if you will. Thank you for being with us. But most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, there are so many things competing now for our time. So the best thing you could possibly do for us is to share the recorded version with friends. If you're a regular watcher, try to invite a friend to join you next week, as we need to continue to raise funds. Rich, what is the best way to for someone to tell someone how to find the recorded version of this?
It's the same link. It's the same link. Yep. It's the same link. Yep.
All right. So share the link, ladies and gentlemen, and with that,
it never changes. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Rick Clackett.
See you next week, everybody.